It's Wednesday, my dudes, and there's no time to spare. David Nakayama is here, and I asked him twice how to pronounce his name, so I hope I got that at least close. But if you don't know who he is, and you've picked up a comic book or an action figure or played a video game in the last 10 years, you've definitely seen his work. So Machu, cue the intro. Let's get going. Come on, come on, come on. Hey.
Hey.
It just stayed on me. I didn't see the actual video. So I was like, oh, I'm just staying
no.
here. Okay.
It played.
Oh, it's fun. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You did wake me up. You did call me. I will say that.
Okay.
It's
okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Hey,
and then you had internet problems?
It's all happening live. I'm in a freaking bunker, apparently, with no internet. So, I'll blink twice if I'm in trouble. The thing that sucks the most right now is I can't see the chat. So I feel very bad about that. So you're going to have to pull a little double duty tonight.
Okay.
But hey, we got a super awesome guest. And we have been working, trying to get him on tonight since we ran into him in Comic-Con in last year. So that's October. We've been going back and forth trying to make this work. So this is pretty awesome, and it stinks that I am currently in Green Bay. But hey, like I said, we're going to make it work, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to talk to him about all kinds of cool stuff. But he does have a time crunch, so I want to try to get him in as quickly as possible. So I'm going to pull up the old YouTube channel and roll through the intros or the chat as quickly as humanly possible, if that's all right.
Oh, okay. I was going to say we could just go right into getting him on.
Yeah, we love our fans. They show up here too. So let's make sure we get everybody here. We got NYC Figure Fanatic who's dropping that 4 p.m. like. We've got Dom, whose birthday is tomorrow, by the way.
Yes.
Make sure you wish him a happy birthday. Josh Brown is here. We got Longshore Spike. Chamba should be a good one. I hope so, man. I hope so. Paul Morales is here. We got Grumps, Toy Rensu hitting us with the
Sup nerds.
There it is. Where Lose is here. Let's see, we got Rel Collects. What's going on, neighbor? KJ Smith, he's here. No giveaway tonight, KJ. So if you're gonna leave, you might as well do it now. We got Heisman Posable in the chat. Don't forget to check them out every Friday at 10 p.m. Man, Beast Boy is here, who will probably see him and Dom and the usual gang over at ToyCon this weekend, which will be exciting. Let's see who else we got. We got Steve Morrow here. He says, Confucius say man with both feet planted firmly on the ground have trouble putting pants on. That's actually pretty solid advice, actually. I like that a lot. Johnson Ross is here, and KJ's out. He says no giveaway. He's out. I don't know how you could be out. I don't know how you could be out. David's here, and, like, the guy's a legend. He's like a living legend at this point. Is your shirt on backwards, Bachu?
It might be.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
One of those days. Days. We'll roll with it. But yeah, appreciate everybody stopping by. And I don't know, man. Like, what else? Let's just bring David in. Let's just talk some cool shit. Yep. Call it 4 minutes cursed. There it is. Hey, David.
Hey, aloha from Hawaii. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. This is cool.
Dude, like I said earlier, man, this is awesome. The fact that we've been talking since Comic-Con is just insane. And I appreciate you indulging us in Comic-Con, but the fact that you followed through and came on the show is even better. So thank you so much, man.
Well, I appreciate you sticking with it. It's people don't know to get me on a show. You got to remind me because I forget. There's so many things happening in my brain, and they have gone to some effort to do this. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I think when we met, I said I was going to be a gentle pain in the ass. So hopefully I came through with that promise.
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's if it to be put on my tombstone. But speaking of a lot going on, dude, you've got, not only are you like, drawing up the yin yang here, you just went to Tokyo and did the Star Wars celebration. How was that, man?
That was neat. I when I heard Star Wars and Japan, those are two things I like, and I was like, I have to see this together. This is too weird. And I didn't look at it as a, I need to go make money situation. This is like purely, I want to have an adventure, right?
Yeah.
And it absolutely was. It was a pleasant surprise to go down there and see, how big a fandom exists in Japan for Star Wars, but also around the world. A lot of, like, half the audience is coming from, all over the Western world in addition to Japan. We saw a lot of people from Australia and the UK and New Zealand, etc. Um, and all the stars showed up for panels. We got to see one of those, so that was really cool. Never done that before. And of course, we had our own little booth with an exclusive Darth Vader cover and a glow-in-the-dark Yoda pin that we had just for the occasion.
Oh, nice. Nice. I saw the Darth Vader cover. I wanted to ask you about that because I mean, like you're more known for, obviously, for your work on Marvel and DC and things like that. But I mean, like that was pretty awesome. That Vader cover is pretty incredible. And if I'm correct, you can pick that cover up on your website still, right?
I think that's true. At least one version of it. They had one version available in Chicago last week, and we had a special one marked for Celebration. The Virgin Art version was available there. But typically, I don't know because I don't stock the store, but typically my retail partner, Unknown Comics, looks like we already have proof right
here. Here it is.
There it is. Okay, say no more. It's there. Buy now. Buy 5.
I'm logging on as we speak. Oh, it says sold out. Never mind. I'm not logging on as we speak. All right. I'll have to see if I know somebody that can get me one. But before Celebration, even we were just talking too. So you're based in Honolulu, but you were just in New York, doing an exclusive comic and signing for Midtown Comics. Yeah,
this has been a pretty busy travel period for some reason, but when cool opportunity comes up, I try not to miss it. And in the Batman case, maybe some of you guys have heard of a guy named Jim Lee or of Hush. The reason I got into comics was for Jim Lee. So when the opportunity to do a connecting Hush series, I was into it.
So we actually, Matt and I were talking about Hush a little while ago because I just recently replayed all the Arkham games, and I watched the Hush. I watched the Hush movie that came out a few years ago, and I was like, because Matt was like, "Yeah, Hush is Riddler," and I was like, "Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. It's it's Tommy Elliott. So who is?"
Oh, did we lose him again?
Lost a little audio, but I think Riddler's like a red herring midway through the story, and then, as you say, it turns out to be that other guy.
Yes. Do we have you, Jay Sean? Or we lost you completely?
Saw a little bit of a finger there. He's working on it.
I'm here.
There we go.
There he is. Okay.
I'm here. Sorry,
He's
so who'd you say?
In a lead-lined room with no internet.
Yeah.
Sorry, so who'd you say Hush was?
We were talking about how midway through the story, the Riddler is kind of held out there, as maybe it's him, but it's a red herring, and as you say, it's Elliot at the end. Spoiler alert for a 10-year-old, 20-year-old comic.
That's awesome. So were you actually at the event with Jim Lee?
Oh, no, not at all. I've only actually met Jim a couple of times, most recently in Mexico last year. But he is the reason I do this. So just the fact that it was Hush and Jim drawing Hush, like there's really not much more exciting of a comic project to come along than that. So not only did I do a cover for the 3rd issue, I think, direct with DC, but Midtown and I got together and did this series right on the screen there. That Poison Ivy's in the middle part of the 3, but it's the Gotham City Sirens as they show up in Hush, starting with Catwoman and then Ivy and then finally Harley Quinn. So you see the first 2 there. But yeah, that was a great way to revisit some of my favorite characters. I'm currently drawing Harley, but I spent 18 issues drawing covers for Catwoman. So these are all like my favorite characters,
That's cool. And I mean, your style too is just like, I want to talk more about your style in a minute, but just kind of how you're mentioning that you got into this because of Jim Lee. Is there a specific comic or moment in your history that like stands out for you that you're like, I want that kind of sparked I want to go do this?
Yeah, I can narrow it down to the specific issue. And What
That's
was
awesome.
happening, like in 1992, you guys might be around my age, I'm not sure, but
Give or take.
Jim Lee was popping really big on Uncanny X-Men. It was just about to roll into the new X-Men 1. It was already known. And issues of an event called Extinction Agenda were coming out, and there were a couple of older guys in my neighborhood that had that, and they were showing it to me. And as a kid who just liked art, I was looking at that going, I was having a lot of feelings. Like, I didn't know comics could look like this, and just the art just looked so cool in general that it just kind of rewrote my brain in a way. I was like, well, this is amazing. I want to know everything about this. I suddenly want to be a comic artist. You know, all of those things kind of hit at once. And ever since then, I've been a reader of comics, and also have been, you know, trying to climb that mountain to grow up to be Jim Lee one day.
I'd say you're on a pretty damn good path, my friend, for sure. So
No one beats the master, but I'm trying.
that's it. You know that you got to at least try. Um, so I mean, in reading that, that's pretty cool. Like, I love hearing that you can get it down to the specific issue. This is a question actually I wanted to ask you before. Do you remember like when it shifted for you? Like, hey, I could do this for a living, right? Like, because everybody loves like doing, like, we have like our, I don't want to call it a hobby, but like we have the things that we love doing. But there's this clear shift, I feel like, at a certain point where you're like, holy smokes, you know, I could do this and make money and support myself. Was there a moment for you in doing that?
Yeah, that's an interesting way of framing it, because I was never that confident, right?
Yeah.
It was more that I had to try, and I was gonna put in however long it took to, you know, until I heard that that it was impossible.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, that's a clunky way of saying it, but I wanted to give it a shot, right? And
Okay.
you know, I went through college. I did a couple of years at the Kubert School. Did an internship. Finally got a Marvel project, but you know, we're 8 years in already trying, and not making very much money doing it. You know, when you start out, you're still pretty much a starving artist, and
Sure.
even for the next 15 years after that, you know, I didn't really feel like I was making a go of it properly. So only in the last few years have I really felt like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing it now. Like, for real. Like, this is the thing, and it's working, and I'm where I wanted to be when I was 13 years old. But it was sort of imposter syndrome up until very, very recently.
Dude, that imposter syndrome, it makes us, it breaks us, but it like makes us do incredible things because we just keep fighting through it somehow. I'll tell you that. So what's your tip? What's your tip for fighting through imposter syndrome?
Oh, I don't know. I guess keep your eyes on the prize, right? Like, what has maintained me all this time is, like, the goal has never changed since day one. It's just literally that thing about trying to measure up to a guy like Jim Lee, right? Like, I know what success looks like. It looks like Jim Lee or Adam Hughes or J. Scott Campbell for me. And you know, my style, or you know, you can probably see bits and pieces of those guys in my style, but I
Sure.
also went through video games, learned how to digitally paint, so that's the other alchemy going on in my particular mix. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to get somewhere like where my heroes have been, if that makes any sense, and that's enough to keep me going.
That's no, dude, I can definitely see it, and it's funny that you mentioned J. Scott Campbell because, um, you know, I had no idea like the connection with you and just like calling him a hero, but like I would say that your female figures are heavily inspired by, like, you immediately when I think J. Scott Campbell, I think Danger Girl, you
Yeah,
know, kind
hell
of
yeah.
that aspect, and I can see that now that you've said it in your art style, but like a nice influence of it. That's pretty cool. I never thought of that,
Yeah,
but
I think the way I draw hips, if you really get
yes,
right down to it,
yep.
is specifically inspired by Danger Girl.
There you
Love
go.
it.
Yep.
Love it. Anytime that I could talk Danger Girl, I'm a happy boy.
I
So
know.
yeah,
I like that reference. That's a good pull.
there you
You
go.
get cred for that.
All right, that's like a street cred now.
Yeah. Rogue is one of the prints I picked up during Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you. I
yeah.
love drawing
Your
her.
your store, or your booth, I should say, your store, your booth at Comic Con is pretty wild too. Like the way that you have it set up, but and again, I know I mentioned this earlier. The fact that you take the time to interact with everybody, it wasn't just like a quick, "Hey, come buy my stuff," and you know, or maybe I'll sign it. Like I think you spent a solid 10, 15 minutes with us, and I was like, I felt bad, the people behind us, it's like, sorry, but
Well,
you were really, yeah.
I like to do it. It's like it's a convention, right? Like you're there to meet people and talk with
Yeah.
them and learn about them and what they like, and you have the shorthand uh, at a show like that where everyone is into the same stuff you are, and it's fun to talk about it. And some people want to talk, and other people are very content to just get their stuff and go. But uh, I tend to I tend to want to talk a little bit.
No fault in it. I really appreciated it. Steve's got a really good question, and yes, Steve, I am logging in from the '90s. Please be patient. I'm trying to collect as many AOL discs as humanly possible so that I can get my free moment.
What a throwback!
Talk about your throwback. Steve's got a great question. He said, "Where did you learn to draw, and what was your first acknowledged quote unquote professional drawing?"
Oh yeah. Well, learning to draw is a lifetime activity. Like it's bits and pieces. It's like any creative thing. Like if you've tried to learn how to play the guitar, learn another language, or get a black belt, or any of those things, like any creative pursuit in your life, it's like that. So you're just getting incrementally better every day. And I've been trying to get incrementally better since I was in high school. Like I said, when I saw that, that first Extinction Agenda comic, I was like, well, damn, that's amazing. I definitely want to do that. And then it's just the hard part is actually, you know, chipping away at the, learning the fundamentals to get there.
Mhm.
Learning anatomy is especially hard. Like it's not fun. It's like quite painful to copy anatomy books over and over until something sticks. But that's I don't know. That's the only way I know how to do it.
But Matt, I certainly don't want to control this conversation. So if there's things you want to jump in at, because I know that
Oh yeah,
you
definitely.
consider yourself an artist, by others too. So definitely don't want to overrun this. If I'm jumping in because I think there's dead air, it's the lag, and I apologize profusely about this. So
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just trying to like scroll and manage the chat at the same time. We also
yeah,
had some people come in earlier.
okay.
We had Yanni popping in saying howdy, Toy Fam,
What's going on, Yanni?
and toying around saying hello there.
He was also in Tokyo for Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. Rhino, I make sure we call out Rhino, otherwise he'll yell at me next time I see him. So we're doing it live. We're doing it live, Rhino, as we always do. And I see Henrock is here. Again, shout out to Henrock and the crew for their incredible photos with Woodsworth this week. Definitely helped sell me on picking it up today. And I think we had an all buy, right? We had an all council buy.
Yeah.
Watching?
Us and the
Yeah.
Toy Daddies.
Us and the Toy Dads in an all council buy. Underdead Werewolf Gene says, "Do love the Transformers cover."
Yeah,
Thank you.
that Optimus cover was really good. It was up there
Uh,
scroll, but I did catch that. That was a really nice cover too.
well, the fortunate thing, if you like that, is I am on Transformers full time right now.
Oh,
We're in the
wow.
Nice.
We're in the middle of a 6-part connecting cover that started with this month's Megatron cover on number 19. So I got to draw Optimus, then I got to draw Megatron. Like this is a good year. But it connects with 5 other covers to form a 3x2 grid with Devastator at the heart of it. So in a way, I like to think that you are assembling Devastator by putting these covers together.
Cool. Yeah.
No hips on Optimus though, I noticed. So
No what?
No hips. You didn't put the hips on Optimus. The Danger Girl
Are you
hips.
disappointed?
I am. I maybe we get a special one going there.
Well,
So.
wait till you see RC on the next one.
Yeah,
there you
say,
That'll scratch that itch for you.
More than make up for it. Man Beast Boy jumping in with a David, do you collect any figures?
Sort of. I collect a few. I've been working on these Marvel Legends figures for quite a few years now, and that has sort of turned into a fun little corner of my office. I have a lot of those. And on the side, I got a couple of Transformers, not too many. That's definitely come in handy for that Devastator cover, I have to say.
Oh yeah.
And just some like anime figures that I keep by my desk, and I just find them inspiring. You know, I want to be surrounded by cool art when I come into the office to work.
That's awesome, and I think it's cool that you collected the figures that you draw the cover, the art, the box art for. That's a nice, that's a nice piece there too. How many figures have you drawn the artwork for at this point for Hasbro?
I think the last time I counted, we were in like the mid 60s, believe it or not,
Wow.
somehow. That kind of blows me away too, but like if you do the math, like they're just the Age of Apocalypse figures alone, there's 15 of those just right off the top. And that's before you count the Deadpool line, the X-Men retro cards, of which there are like, I don't know, 10, 12 and growing right now. Yeah, there's quite a few. It's been going since what feels like an artistic lifetime ago. I was doing video game stuff. I started doing those Hasbro figures while I was doing the video game job, and I haven't been doing that job for like 8 years. So it's been a while.
Wow. 60 though. That's impressive.
Well over. Yeah, somehow it kind of blows me away.
I bet you I have all 60 of them too. So
Thank
I
you.
saw 78 points jumping in there too. I want to make sure we shout him out. And then Steve, of course, has a really great question. How does drawing a Transformer differ from a human-like figure?
That is a great question that I've never been asked before, but I've had to think a lot about it because, it's nothing alike. Like I've really had to retool how I even work on Transformers, and the biggest thing is that an arm doesn't bend the same way that a human arm does at all. So you can't even start sketching the same way. You have to. I find that it's better to think of it as almost like a slinky, like a bendable form that only stays like in a cylindrical shape. And I do not approach human figures that way at all. So you're definitely thinking about a cube in space. Like what is the dark side and what is the lit side and what is the midtones. And I don't usually go through human anatomy that way. So yeah, that's very perceptive to notice how different those are.
That's interesting. I like the slinky analogy. And like when you're drawing, do you keep almost like a slinky at your desk so that you can kind of move it around and stuff? You use it like as an inspiration point?
I don't physically, but in my head, like the way I think of figures, human figures is the Andrew Loomis methodology. With cylinders and simple geometric shapes. But the Transformers difference is that the forearm and the top of the arm and the bottom of the arm, I have to think of them as more of a combined structure, which is why the slinky analogy makes sense in my brain, at least.
Yeah. No, I think it works. It works. Yeah. I'm thinking about how just the slinky moves, and you're right. Like it doesn't move like a human figure, and I'm imagining that a Transformer wouldn't move that way. That's pretty smart. I'm going to thank 78s for the best transition we could ask for, because you had mentioned that you wanted to bring this up, and he is mentioning that Spider Girl #1 hits this week, and make sure your comic book stores to order them. And that was one that you worked on specifically, that you did want to talk about that, and we want to talk about Emma Frost as well, right?
Yeah. So I am just over the moon about coming back to Marvel for some main covers. I love main covers so much because I just feel like I'm more part of the regular team, if that makes any sense. And
Sure.
I also love it when people can just very affordably get my work for just the $4. It's painless. It's an easy way for people to get the work, and I love that. So I had been doing Spider-Gwen for a long time, but more recently have been focused on DC stuff. So I was glad to be asked back at Marvel for not one but two ongoing series. Emma Frost, of course, and Spider-Girl #1 are both in the brand new Marvel Previews catalog, and I'm deep into both right now. I'm working on the 4th issue of each of those, but you can order the first one right now, and I couldn't be more invested in both of them, or more proud of both of them. So please check them out.
What's special that you're excited about with this especially about the Spider-Girl story? Like what you say you're invested, like what's kind of drawing you in on that?
A couple of things. Like there have been obviously many Spider Girls over the years, right? There's no shortage of them. But what's interesting about the new one is that she kind of is a villain. She's
Oh,
this cute kid, but she's an assassin trained by Bullseye. Like she's kind of this hardcore, little rabble rouser. Not so different from Damian Wayne over on the DC side.
Hmm.
She's ultra violent, unpredictable. That is a fun juxtaposition with her being a little girl. And on top of all of that, I understand she is Hawaiian, ethnically Hawaiian, and I live in Hawaii and grew up in Hawaii, so I love that for her as well. So for all those reasons, they also have a fabulous creative team. Torin Grosbeck, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right, but the current writer of Thor and Venom is the writer on this too. So a lot to be excited about with Spider-Girl.
that's that's awesome. I had no idea about that background on her too. So I love that. Especially the assassin thing. It made me think of Leon the Professional immediately too. Kind of like a little bit of a change up of that.
Unknown
So,
is closing their doors? No.
Yeah. 78
oh,
says Unknown is closing their doors, so grab David's covers for super discounts. Some beautiful negative space covers
They are not closing their doors. I don't know where we're getting that. Nope, they are. We were just hanging out in Japan. I heard there's some former business partner of theirs that's been spreading that rumor, but that is false. They are
Okay.
fully in business. We're still working together. We'll be at all the upcoming shows together. So yeah, that's not true. They're definitely doing just fine. But he's right about the sales. They're doing a awesome fire sale right now on some extra inventory. So this is definitely the best I've ever seen. It is a good time to go buy books you might be missing from me and from other artists that they've worked with. So that part is true, but they are not closing.
okay. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Glad we got that
Good to
sorted out.
Yeah.
We got a couple other people stopping by here. We just want to give a couple quick shout outs. We got Yimbo reviews everything. Obviously, Yimbo reviews everything on Sunday nights as well as on Monday with TPC and the rest of the Toy Daddies. And shout out to No Chewing because I'm sure that he's going to go back and watch this as he is a huge fan of yours, David. So it also looks like we got William Husted is here. Obviously, 78 points to give us that amazing transition. Or segue, whatever you want to call it. Jurassic Jesser is here. What's going on, Jurassic Jesser? He says your art is awesome, David. So no shock there that you've got a bunch of fans swinging by. There's a really good question here from Man Beast Boy that says he could see your art being the basis of any DC or Marvel animated movie. Is that something that you've kind of hoped for, or maybe are in talks with that I could secretly pull out of you tonight?
Oh, I wish. I mean, like, what artist wouldn't want that to happen? There are a lot of milestones I'm still hoping for, sometime in my career. I've been lucky, to work on toys. I love those. Have such an honored place on my shelf and the video game stuff. But I've never really done much in film or TV. I would love to work on like a game more directly, a TV or film project. Imagine how cool it would be to, like I think that when they did the Hush series with, DC animated, they tried to follow Jim Lee's art style, and they've done it with, some of the others like Frank Miller, right, for Dark Knight Returns. It's really rare when that happens, but of course, any artist would be really honored for that to happen. So it would be cool. Not holding my breath, but that would be super cool. Love to do a DC art book one day. Would love to have a statue one day. Hopefully things that might happen in the future. Who knows?
Maybe we could. Maybe next time we're swinging by the old McFarlane booth, we can put in a good word for you for the minimal pull that we have anywhere. We'll use it for sure.
Man, that's why I'm always thanking you guys. When we do these shows or when people are saying like you should come to this comic convention, it's not so much up to me. It's about like the fans asking for something, right? Like if the fans come out, and maybe not even literally, but even like if you bought or pre-ordered a comic at retail, the companies see that. They see that there was interest, and that means they're going to come back to me and hire me more. So that is why I'm out there saying thank you very much for buying my book, because I really feel like that is why I get to keep doing this stuff.
Definitely.
Well, on behalf of everybody, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I did want to ask a question. There's so many different, properties that you've got to draw or participate in or even lead, right? You have the DC Marvel Transformers. 78 mentions your Lady Death cover. Like what's one that you haven't done yet that you're like itching to do?
Yeah. Oh, there's, we're still talking about these milestones that you want to hit.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've gotten my fill of anybody yet. So I could still imagine doing a lot more X-Men in the future. Emma Frost is a big one for me because it's the first time I'll be doing main covers for any X book for any length of time. I did do 2 X-Men Gold issues randomly back in the day, but that's different than being on like the main cover artist on a series. So that one's really special to me, and I would love for that to happen a lot more. So if they were in the future to say offer Magic or Psylocke or Dare I Dream the main X book or something like that, those are things I'd really love to do. Surprise things I would love to do would be like Captain America on the Marvel side or Batman on the DC side. I don't know if people necessarily think of me for that, but I have a lot of interests in that. And then the things that I've never gotten to draw that I would love to tend to be anime or video game properties, which just don't come into comics very often for whatever reason. But I love anime, so if there was ever an opportunity to draw something for My Hero or for Attack on Titan, for example, or Dan to Dan or whatever, I would love to do it.
I was just going to ask you what your anime of choice is right now because I know that people obviously out there watching anime. I'm not the biggest anime person in the world, but I did recognize most of those names that you said, so I will take credit for that.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Well, let's see what else here. We've got other questions. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to backtrack really quickly. You mentioned being on a main, right? So, talk to me a little bit about what that means, just in terms of comic book world and vernacular. You're the main cover artist for how many covers, or what that entails.
Yeah. So, I mean, it used to be that there was just the one cover for years and years and years, but there's a huge collector's market now for alternate covers, exclusive covers, and a lot of people I find, doing as many covers that I do, is a lot of people just treat the comic book as an art object, and they're almost just buying it for the cover a lot of the time, and that's fine. It's good for me.
Yeah.
I do both. I buy comics just for the cover, and I also buy comics just because it's written by someone I really like. So in the case of main covers, what I like about that job is I get to hear about the story and I get to tailor images that reflect what's happening in the story, which is sort of what My Heroes always did. So the reason I'm interested in Wonder Woman now and working on that now is because Adam Hughes worked on it in the 2000s for a really long time. It's like, I think the greatest Wonder Woman run there's ever been. And I wanted to do that, something like that, do like an extended period where you're really exploring a character and showing them from a lot of different angles, exploring style and getting to the heart of what they're about. And that maybe isn't the best example of it's B covers, but we're approaching them like A covers in the sense that they are based on the story.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So really you're doing the mains, meaning that your cover is going to be the main, not to keep using the word main, but it's going to be the feature that explore. Okay. Got it. Okay. Interesting.
Mostly, and it's mostly a matter, it's a retail distribution thing, in the sense that they will primarily show the main cover in the catalog.
Right.
But it's also am I telling the story or am I just doing a pinup shot approach? And I do like being influenced by the story, and I do like being, the thing that you see in the catalog. So for both reasons, that's a fun job to have.
Got it. I like it coming back to story, right? It feels like that's a very important thing, which is really cool. Jester says he'd love to see a Jurassic Park series. Any interest in drawing dinosaurs?
Sure. Yeah, it's a good. I haven't really drawn dinosaurs since at the beginning of the Krakoa Age of X-Men. I did a connecting cover of all the
Okay.
X people in the Savage Land, and you've got Cyclops and Jean riding on a Tyrannosaurus, of course. But that was it. That was it for dinosaurs. So I think I've got some more dinosaurs in me.
There you go, Justin. So, get a Jurassic Park series coming, and we'll see if David can be in on it. So there you go. Are there any comic book artists now that you are pulling inspiration from, or that you like to follow? I mean, the first comic book artist that comes to mind for me is Sarah Myers, who's doing the Ninja Turtle cartoon and serial cartoon adventures, which shamelessly Turtle fan, yada yada yada. But are there any ones that you've kind of just been either following or just inspired by, or met at a convention that had a great conversation with?
Let's see. I mean, we've already talked about my heroes, and I
Yeah.
I kind of, have been reading I've been reading comics for years and years and years. And when I encountered guys like Adam Hughes or Jay Scott, I was like, wow, like this is it. This is the best I've ever seen. I don't know if there's a better artist to have ever done it. For Campbell, it's about the expression and the color and the exaggeration of the form, and with Hughes, it's about shadow and draftsmanship and humor. He's very funny the way he illustrates stuff. I love all those qualities, and I still to this day have not seen anyone do those things better. So I think of those as my North Stars.
Okay.
But over the years, I've also the new people have come around and really impressed me, like Dan Mora and Pepe Larraz and Jorge Jimenez. Like the fact that they can do cover quality interior books basically monthly is insane. It's absolutely astounding, and it's amazing that there's more than one guy that can do it. But all three of those guys seem to be able to pull it off. So much respect to them.
I love that you mentioned the humor of J. Scott Campbell, because man, nobody can do bubble placement on a female figure like J. Scott Campbell, for sure. I love Man Beast Boy's comment here too about hunting down these comics, which is awesome. So you're giving us fans and collectors another thing to go searching for.
Sweet. Great.
And in terms of that, what is the grail for you, the comic grail that you're trying to track down or have already tracked down?
I never really collected things based on value or based on it being historic. Like
doesn't need to be valued, just something to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I when I was coming up, and I had more time at comic conventions to go through quarter bands and things like that. Once again, I sound like a broken record, but I was hunting down all those rare J. Scott Campbell and Adam Hughes covers. Once you discover an artist, a lot of time you're encountering them in the middle of their career, and you can go back and see that they have 10 years of stuff you didn't know about, and some of it can be fantastic. So this is a different time in my life when I had a lot more time, but as a college student, I would gather all these things, and I would actually, this is how little I cared about like the value of books. I would detach the covers, like literally physically cut them off the comic, which I didn't care about, and then meticulously assemble them chronologically in my own art books. So I have 6 volumes of Adam Hughes chronologically from the beginning of his career. Totally obsessive, I know. And I did the same for Campbell. And I'm kind of glad I did it, because you cannot get an art book that represents half that material. Certainly not cross company. No one else has it but me.
Yeah. That's kind of a cool thing, though. Like, to your point, right? Nobody else has it but you, and it means something to you, right? It's an inspirational piece. So, all right, well,
yeah, it's valueless because I've destroyed the comic, and yet it's the most priceless thing in my collection to me.
That's pretty cool. 78 says old Hughes is greater than current Hughes, and his Ghost work is still a favorite of his as well.
Ghost is fabulous. His Vampirella stuff is fabulous. But man, did you see that Rogue that came out? Savage Land Rogue, like 2 weeks ago? He's still just as good, man. So good.
We'll have to pull it up. I know we only have a few more minutes, or I think even if you might have to go. So obviously, I want to be respectful of your time. Chat, if you've got other questions for David, get him in there now so we can make sure we ask away. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll get him back for a part 2 when I'm not trapped in a bunker, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So,
I can keep going if people have questions
right,
for sure. But
great.
if it starts to run out, then you let me know.
Of course. Win or Lose has got a question saying, any preference for pencil ink versus digital?
Well, if I was smart, is what I always tell people, I would do everything traditional because all the money's in original art. It really is. And I try whenever I can to do it traditionally so that I can make some money, right? But money is not the number one reason I got into comics. It's because I love the characters and I want to draw them. So what I end up doing is in a month where people say, hey, do you want to draw Turtles? Do you want to draw Transformers? Do you want to draw Emma Frost? I have to say yes to all of that because that's why I'm doing it in the first place, even if it means I no longer have the time to draw the originals, if that makes sense. So I would rather make more covers and have to do it digitally than make more money by doing a few covers and drawing it traditionally. So that's the trade-off.
Okay. But you would say you would prefer to do the pencil ink style. Does it feel? I know I can only imagine if it's a difference in feel just for the hand too.
Yeah. It's really different. There's something really pleasing about making something happen for real on paper. That's really satisfying. But it's also frustrating because the mistakes are forever. You can white out as much as you want, but there's still a mistake there. Digital is completely forgiving in that way. There's no pain in that way, and I find it's much cleaner and more effortless to work that way. But it's not real in the way that paper artwork is. So.
Right.
I don't know. There's pluses and minuses about both. I can do both. I don't know, if I prefer one or the other. I can definitely achieve more digitally. There are things that you could not do digital or traditionally that I routinely do in Photoshop. And even when I do work traditional, I scan it in and finish in Photoshop just so I can get that last 10% that I couldn't possibly draw. So I don't know. I use them both where I can, I guess.
I like the idea of a combined art form for sure. Man Beast Boy's got a good question here. Top 3, a character that deserves their due on the big screen.
That's a good
What
question.
are your top 3 picks?
Well, Emma Frost is definitely up there. I don't think we've seen a great Emma Frost yet. That makes me think. From there, I go Storm. Totally wasted on screen so far. She's such a boss in the comics. At the very top, Cyclops, same thing. I just feel like all these characters are so awesome, but we haven't seen them even scratch the surface of what makes them awesome on film.
Right.
Wolverine, we have covered. There has been awesome Wolverine on screen several times. I'm not saying I'm tired of it. I'm just saying I have seen Wolverine the way I like Wolverine on screen, but I haven't seen that for Emma or Jean or Storm or Psylocke or I don't know. I got into this because of X-Men, so I guess that's where my heart goes.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I don't know if you saw, but there's the rumor is that the X-Men who are coming back from the old X-Men movies will be wearing comic accurate outfits or costumes in Doomsday. Are you excited by that or nervous about that they're going to screw it up royally?
I like it, but to be honest with you, I want to see a complete recast of all the X-Men because the X-Men to me is youthful. They're youthful punk rock people, and I don't know if the actors this many years removed are going to feel like the characters that I want to see. I mean, yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be great to see him again. Every time that's happened before, it's been exciting.
Yeah.
And in cases like Professor X, sure, it doesn't matter if he's an old guy. That's fine. But don't you feel like Cyclops ought to be a young guy? I don't know. I feel like that's really important.
I don't know. James Marsden feels like my Cyclops, but I'm also not the biggest Cyclops fan, so I know that you know, I mean, there's people going off in the chat. You got Man Beast Boy and Winger Lose saying justice for Cyclops.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think,
great. Cyclops is awesome, actually.
there you go. Cool. All right, man. Again, I know that I want to be mindful of your time, and we got a little bit of a late start. Questions you seem to be winding down, but I want to end on, you know, I think 78's note here of, you know, that you are the GOAT, man, and just keep doing what you're doing. And also, I love his note about kids read more comics, right? Get out there and read more comics in general. So, thank you so much, David, for your time. And like I said, hopefully we get you back sooner. Maybe I upgrade to AOL 4.0 here, and we'll have a little bit better of a back and forth, and we'll go from there. But can't thank you enough, man. And will we see you at San Diego Comic-Con?
I'll definitely be there. I'll definitely be at New York. I think that unfortunately might be the rest of my convention schedule for the year, but we have been traveling a lot recently, so
yeah,
time to buckle down and get some work done. You know.
There you go. I got you. All right. Well, then we will see you for sure at San Diego Comic-Con. And if you have any shirts left, I will give you a shirt because the Chamba did our art, and
He's so good.
Love more than anything else to give it to you. So, did you hear that, Chamba? He said you're good. Awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate you.
I'm a fan. We've met. I saw him at Hawaii convention not so long ago. But thank you guys very much for having me. I really appreciate it, and hope to do it again soon.
Hell yeah, man. Anytime. You're welcome back anytime. I'll continue to be a polite pain in the ass. Don't worry.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, David.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. Cool.
That's awesome.
I don't know how bad that was on my end, but it seemed to be pretty good. So.
No, it was good. It was good.
Yeah. And chat, you guys were awesome, man, jumping in with these questions. Thank you so much for that. And, you know, really good questions there. And now it's just us poor schlubs hanging out. But you know, what's new and exciting, Matsu? We didn't get to talk much before. We kind of just right into it.
I got some figures in. Like I got that third party Wolverine, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also got what was it? The Yamaguchi 2.5 Deadpool with the that extra half mask face.
Nice.
And what else did I get? I got an unmasked head sculpt for my Hot Toys Deadpool too. That was yesterday that I got that. But I was working on a cell shaded Maximum Spider-Man.
Give yourself full screen there. Right,
oh,
magically throw you
I could have
over.
put it in a better pose too, but
yeah.
I don't have Chew here to do that for me.
That's okay. That's all right. Yes. And if you guys didn't check out the pose off, where I also had more internet issues, it just seems to be the theme this week. Machu, how many did you break this week? How many Spider-Man did you break? Because we got.
I just broke the Mop-X.
Oh, just the Mop-X. Okay.
Yeah,
but you came back strong with this cell shading. Look at that.
I came back strong when I came back with the. I pulled out the 12-inch Peter.
That's right. You got to throw your 12-inch on the table and get it going. So yeah.
But yeah, this was actually pretty fun to do.
It looks awesome.
And I even did the back. At first I used some paint that Mario gave me, and then I realized the paint was chipping off a little bit. So then I started using the paint that I'm more familiar with using, and then I was like, "Oh, this is much better." Sorry, Mario. But like I even did the back. I did the cheeks too. Look at that.
Oh, nice. Gotta get them cheeks. Get them cheeks. And David would be proud that you got them cheeks. You know, get them hips going.
Get them hips going. What's new with you besides being stuck in a bunker?
I was stuck in a bunker, but I gotta say, you know, every once in a while I get to do some cool stuff with my job. And for any of you who are fans of the NFL or fans of football, I am literally at the NFL draft today and tomorrow. I got to go backstage and see the setup, which is absolutely incredible. You want to talk about giant video screens? They're like it's insane. You know, I've got some pictures of what I could get pictures of, but it was pretty cool to walk back there. And then, you know, for the company I work for, I'll be doing some social media stuff, going live a few times tomorrow. Not me on screen, but I'll be doing the job of Machu tomorrow, and somebody else will be playing me, where I'll be behind the camera. So Tom says J Shot overall pick. Thank you, man. That's pretty cool.
When are you gonna be doing? When is your company gonna send you to some WWE stuff?
Man, I would love that. I would love that. But I work for the cable company, and WWE is predominantly on Netflix, so probably not anytime soon.
I mean, they're also on the USA Network.
It's true.
For
They are
SmackDown.
on the USA Network, so maybe we get to go to to SmackDown or something. But
You just won't see mommy though. That's the only problem.
well, then what the hell am I doing there? I mean, really. So why go? If I'm not going to see mommy, why go? Let's see. Jay Shot's going to go to the WWE event when The Rock decides to show up. So we were getting frustrated with some people today, and I used one of his quotes. And I don't know if you guys know it. It's off is the direction in which you can go, and then you could finish the rest of it there, which is a great line from him. So but yeah, I think I got some stuff delivered today, so I'm excited to go home to some figs. We went to Target, but this is not a toy friendly group, so just stuck away for a hot minute to go down the toy aisle. Nothing there, thankfully. Otherwise, I would have had.
Do you have your April still?
You got my April, and I think you got my stuff from too, right? From Diggs.
From Diggs, yes. Yeah.
My more haulathon stuff. NECA doesn't let me keep my tax return. They take it. So
yeah.
I wonder if I could just have them direct deposit it to NECA so that I don't even see it, and they just keep sending me stuff.
And it just shows up on your door?
Yeah, and then NECA just sends me stuff. I think that might actually work better. So
yeah, that might be something to talk about.
Mon says I walked into Target, but I missed. No, man, Beast Boy, this was the Target in Green Bay, Wisconsin is where I'm currently at. So, that's New York City Targets have been lacking for sure.
Yeah, I usually go across the bridge.
Yeah, you go to the Jers. So
yeah,
I did pick up I did pick up Pee Wee and the Count last weekend. So. Haven't opened them up yet, but I did get them. So
where did you find the Count?
He was in one of the random Targets that I went to. That I think I texted you about those Batman figures or something. No, not the Batman figures. Yeah, something else. But yeah, I was happy to find that. So Mitch Hedberg. Oh man, such a good. I love when my neighbor knocks on the wall, and I always say, "Come in." I don't know if you know how walls work, but I cannot open it from this side. Yeah. Miss that man. So wow, man, Beast Boy got to see him live. Man, Beast Boy, are you older than we think you are? Because damn, dude, you look good for your age then. So there you go. But anyway, what else, man? I don't know what else to talk about. Like, I feel like that was quite a whirlwind.
ToyCon this weekend.
Yeah, that's exciting. You're going to go Saturday, and then I'm going to join you on Sunday, right? Or are you not going Saturday?
I think I might go Saturday. We'll see. And also, Woodbridge show apparently is this weekend too, so we have a choice.
Oh boy, we can just hit them all up, huh? All right. Speaking of hitting up, if you do want a shirt and you are going to be at at NJ ToyCon, hit one of us up. We'll deliver a shirt, save on shipping. But got a few more shirts went out last week, so they are starting to move. So if you're looking for a shirt with artwork featuring artwork by the Chamba, nothing says I'm a total nerd like our faces on your chest. So I don't know where I'm going with this.
And we appreciate you for buying them.
Yes, 100%. We appreciate you for buying them. My wife appreciates it more when I don't have a big box of my face hanging out on our living room couch. So there you go. So weird. Anyway, I might be sleep deprived. But yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm sure we'll see the usual suspects there this weekend. Mandy's Boy and Henrock and Toy Mirth. I think Revs is stopping by. Of course, we'll see Toy Mayor and D Blake Makes will be there. And there's a couple. Is the wrestling ring showing up?
I think so.
Still gonna have some. Wasn't
I remember seeing something. I remember seeing like Doink, right?
Yes,
Doink
Doink
is gonna be
there, but not Dink. doink but not dink, you know. So no mommy. Josh Brown says the nurse drawing blood the other day. So what's on your shirt? That's amazing, Josh. That's amazing. Hopefully you got a sub. I hope so too, dude. That's amazing. You should just politely say, "Oh, well, check them out," and it squeezes your arm a little bit tighter to get blood out of it. So yeah. 78 says he's going to see if they know Machu in Bangkok. So there you go. Yeah.
I didn't go to Bangkok.
So. You cut out. So all I heard was Bangkok. That's all I heard.
I did not go to Bangkok.
Okay, all right, much better. Oh man. So Dom says no wrestling. No, so no wrestling ring. I assume that means, but there will be some wrestlers will be there. Okay. Oh, and Dom will be there selling wrestlers, action figures, not people.
Yes.
We don't sell people anymore, right, Dom? That's just how it works. So yeah.
All right, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah. Let's end this stream before I say something stupid. You know, first and foremost, Machu, thank you for holding it down tonight. I know that my issues here were tough, but I appreciate the hell out of you picking up the slack tonight. And huge shout out.
I apologize for.
Don't worry about it. We got you. Yeah. Also, I now know that FaceTiming you gets you up faster than 3 phone calls in a row. So good to know that for the next time. Huge shout out to David for stopping by and giving us a few moments of his time. I'd love to have him back, but we'll definitely see him in San Diego. Definitely go support him. Pick up Spider-Girl #1. Pick up Emma Frost, and go to the Unknown Backstocks collection there and pick some of his old stuff up. But most importantly, thank you guys, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay. We appreciate the hell out of you. We wouldn't have the opportunity to talk to people like David without you and this growing support of the community. So appreciate the hell out of you. And thanks for stopping by tonight, guys. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you maybe at NJ ToyCon. So that's it, Machu. Let's get the hell out of here. Cue that outro.
Peace.